Hi, I'm Ian from Blackstar.
And I'm Paul from Blackstar.
And we're here to talk about Blackstar history and background.
Coming up with a name for a company is as difficult as coming up with a name for a band. So there was lots of late nights in Ian's kitchen with a whiteboard, lots of different ideas, because we didn't want our brand to be one of our names, because it's a team effort. It's not about any one of us. So we had to come up with a new kind of name. So Blackstar is black, which is a rock and roll color. It's very cool. Star is aspirational. It's an astrological body. It's a precious stone. It's been used as a song title by Malmsteen, Radiohead, loads of people. So it had lots of layers of meaning. And the thing that made us convinced that it was a cool name was that David Bowie named his last album after us, which is pretty amazing, right?
Right. We were like really successful working together in our Marshall days. And the four of us who started Blackstar were like a really strong team with all the attributes to be a like excellent amp design team. So when we left Marshall, we had some ideas of different options that we could do in life, but because it was like the best band we'd never been in, that team that we had. And we knew that with the expertise that we had and the ideas that we had, that we would have a really good chance at making some great products. And we wanted to continue the development and the innovation that we'd done during the Marshall days. That was what really drove us. So Blackstar really was our vehicle to, in some ways, realize the potential that we felt that we had and give people just better guitar amplifier products. Obviously, our background, the Marshall background, gave us a certain direction. But we were very interested in all different amplifier designs. That was really our passion, was finding out why different amplifiers sounded the way they did. And I think when we started, we talk about it a lot. There was a period for 3.5 years at the beginning of the company where we basically were just researching. And one of the things that drove us was trying to identify the whole signal chain of mainly of a traditional valve amp, why each valve amp, part of the valve amp sounded the way it did and how it could be improved. Say between a Vox and a Fender and a Marshall, people say they know, but we did the really deep research which analyzed and isolated each part of the amp. And as we went through that process, there were certain discoveries that we made which made us go, we definitely can make improvements in different areas. And I think for us, one thing that all our amps have is they have a lot of clarity. And that's to do with some discoveries that we made around power amplifiers, the way small power amplifiers work compared to big power amplifiers work, and being able to control the differences. So I think a big characteristic of ours is that even when you've got a lot of gain, we have a lot of definition. So you can play a big chord, you get definition across every note. And if you're playing lead, you get super good definition without it feeling hard or sterile. And that's to do with a lot of the research. So I think that idea of what the Blackstar sound should be developed over that research period. But fundamentally as well, we never really wanted it to be so tied down to a specific sound. We always wanted to give lots of flexibility. That's why we have the sound in your head as our tagline. It's not about mine or Paul or Bruce's idea. It's about giving everybody the opportunity to get the sound. But Blackstar do have their own characteristic and their own signature kind of sound overall. And in a way, it's kind of more what you think you would hear having listened to a track on Spotify now, or for me on a record. I used to think an amp should sound a certain way because I'd listen to it and then I'd try an amp and it wouldn't be the same. I think when you plug into Blackstar, it's much more like you expect that experience to be, because we kind of, in a way, kind of produce the sound to be more in keeping what you expect to hear rather than perhaps what the traditional amps sound like. One of the reasons why I think I was a good amp designer is because I'm not a very great guitar player. So I played all my life, but my style requires me to have a good sound or I can't play. Some people can play on anything and sound good. You know those guys with the really strong Gary Moore style? I've got a kind of not such a strong style. So I think that helped me get the feel and the sound when we were developing that. It was really so important that I had a good sound for me that it kind of drove that process.
So for us, it's all about listening to guitarists and what they need, addressing the challenges they have and the way that they play today. So even during our career, we've seen the kinds of tools that guitarists use have really evolved a lot. So from mainly valve amps to the digital functionality, to recording, to live streaming. And particularly during the lockdown period, obviously that was a really important aspect, being able to still play, still perform, even when you were stuck at home. So we've always been interested in innovating and adding technology and using it in a way that helps musicians create in the way they have to.
Absolutely. That's why our company exists. Absolutely. At the very heart of what we do is to create the ultimate tools for guitarists to express themselves. And that will continue to drive us. And it's a kind of never-ending journey. It's like songwriting. You know, you think you've written the perfect song, but then the next day something else comes along. And, you know, something like HD Venue Mark III. We thought, how could we ever be better than HD Venue Mark II? But in the 5 or 6 years in between, we learned so much. So there's a momentum because we're always learning to produce and improve our products.
It's a huge honour and a thrill to see legendary artists like Doug Aldrich, Bob Mould, really amazing players that you've listened to and respected all your life, using a product that you've been involved with in terms of designing it. Because if you love their music, having them use your amplifiers and equipment that you've designed to create new sounds, write new songs, be inspired by, it's amazing. We're all in it. We're all such passionate musicians and massive fans of music. That's what gets us up in the morning. When we wake up, we love music, and that's why we do what we do.
It can lead to some really funny situations as well. So we had one of the guys, Bob Mould, who's like a guy of Sugar and Husker Du, and Bob Mould is his own stuff. He came to Blackstar in Northampton, and we spent a day together just checking out some amps, talking about stuff. And I was having to explain that most of the amps have been tested with his guitar riffs, because he's like probably my favorite guitar player. So it's like, Bob, I'm sorry to say this, but we might have to pay some royalties here because all your amps have been designed with this riff. So, and yeah, I suppose it also, that sort of stuff leads to part of the sound as well, because our influences do come through maybe in part of the sound. But yeah, I've been really honoured to meet most of my favourite guitar players, actually. I've been really honoured to meet. And do you know what? They've all been really, really nice people. Yeah, all of them. Yeah, Doug Aldrich, who we've been with here in Prague, one of the nicest guys and the most open guys we've ever met in the industry. And it's a real, when that happens, that's even better, because you not only do we work with them, I think they've become friends, and that's a great thing. Yeah. We've got loads of exciting products coming. I think we've got some really amazing valve products coming, developing some of the themes of what we've been doing in the last couple of years. Very, very innovative. We might be revisiting maybe some St. James products, because we're definitely not finished with that. There's loads more potential there. And then on the digital side, obviously we've got software only products now. So we've got plugins, and we've got some really cool and innovative ideas around plugins. And then digital hardware products, we've got some really, really excellent stuff. And I think, like everything, it's for so many different use cases, but very targeted to a particular guitarist use case. Yeah. So everything from home practice, home recording, we've got some live amps coming through. Yeah. And all of it very, very innovative. Got some great new ideas coming.
I think the great thing with Blackstar is we've got everything from like a Fly 3 portable battery amp up to St. James and Series 1 professional tube amps, and everything in between. So we're always, whatever kind of level you're at, whether you're just starting out or you're a real professional player, there's something for you in the Blackstar catalogue, and we're always innovating, always refreshing or adding new models. So it's constantly changing. Like Ian said, it's as soon as you finish one project, you're immediately thinking about what the next one's going to be.
Please come and try our stuff. Me and Paul, there's 45 people now in the UK, and we are so passionate about what we do, and those guys work so hard to produce the best possible product. So please, maybe put preconceptions aside in terms of some of the older brands. We're still quite a young brand in a way, and check our stuff out and make the decision with your ears, you know, because we believe our products sound better and they'll make you sound and be better players. So we really appreciate your support over here, and hope you find what you're looking for by plugging into a Blackstar.
Thank you.